DC's All-In Initiative and Absolute Universe are the talk of the comic book world. And whether you're, say, a comic book fan who's looking for new and refreshing ideas, or someone who's simply just looking for their first jumping on point, the Absolute Universe might be exactly what you need. But what even is the Absolute Universe? How is this any different from the main line of DC Comics? And the question on everyone's mind, why does Batman look like that? Well, for the answers to all those questions and more, you've come to the right place. Hi, I'm Jeff. I've done all the research, so you don't have to. I'm happy to answer all your questions. And no, I don't wear shoes in my house. I just don't want any feet pics on the internet. But before we get started, please make sure to give this video a like. Make sure to drop a comment below whether you're skeptical or hyped about the Absolute Universe. And make sure to share it with your friends so they have their questions answered as well. And of course, if you like superhero-related content, it only makes sense to hit that bell. And make sure you subscribe for more content just like this. Now, let's answer the question, what is the Absolute Universe? The Absolute Universe is part of DC's All-In Initiative by Scott Snyder, Joshua Williamson, Daniel Sampere, Wes Craig, and others to begin a brand new era of DC storytelling in the 2020s. The idea behind the initiative is a focus on telling new stories all across DC and encouraging radical changes. The Absolute Universe is central to the idea as a fresh start for storytelling of fan-favorite characters, similar to Marvel's Ultimate line of comics both now and in the 2000s, offering fans an accessible entry point to both new and existing titles. However, the DCU, or Metaverse, is still getting some shakeups after the events of Absolute Power and All-In. Spoilers ahead. We're at the end, a formerly broken up Justice League is being reformed. This after the world was traumatized by the image of AI-generated superheroes killing humans. And much of our heroes have actually swapped abilities after they were sucked away by Waller and fail-safes and Mazos. And they've been locked out of the multiverse. There's a lot of exciting potential storylines and ways for writers to put their spin on things. The Absolute Universe is designed with no prior reading required, meaning you can start right now and you would not feel left out at all. You're probably asking yourself, what makes these heroes different? Let's start off with Absolute Batman. This is written by Scott Snyder and Nick Dragotta, and this Batman is an absolute...
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
This Batman is a fucking unit. A 6'6" version of Bruce Wayne with an axe for a bat symbol and knives for ears. But this Bruce doesn't have a fortune or Alfred. In fact, he's an engineer. He's not billionaire Bruce Wayne, he's the working man's Bruce Wayne. Absolute Batman is like saying, you know, Bruce, it sucks that your parents were killed right in front of you and everything, but you didn't really have it that bad. You never had to wake up at 6:30 a.m. on a Monday and wait for the snow-delayed streetcar to take you to work in Toronto. And then, of course, there's the Man of Steel himself. Written by Jason Aaron and illustrated by Rafa Sandoval, if some of the core characteristics of Batman are his wealth and Alfred as his godparent, well, Absolute Superman continues the theme of losing what is so key to his upbringing. That's right, there's no Ma and Pa Kent in the storyline. This Superman has a different relation to his home of Krypton and Earth, and the story actually starts in Brazil. Part of the cool new look is, as Aaron explained it, is that this suit is actually a suit of mourning, and that his cape is covered in the ashes of his homeworld. And my personal favorite, Absolute Wonder Woman. Written by Kelly Thompson and illustrated by Hayden Sherman, Absolute Wonder Woman is vastly different. Diana is the first superhero in this universe, but also the last Amazon, who is also a witch and was raised not in paradise, but in hell. We don't know too much about what's behind the new look right now, but it's easily one of the coolest costumes I've seen in a long time. I know what you're thinking, and yes, it's very edgy. Compared to the Metaverse, which is powered by Superman's energy, the Absolute Universe is powered by Dark's energy, hence the more gritty and edgy versions of these characters. They're more underdogs and agents of chaos against Darkseid's order. Scott Snyder and Joshua Williamson explained that essentially these versions of Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, and others will still have the same morals and values we've come to love, but they're going to be stripped down of their status quo and have a very new history to make. Honestly, I wasn't seeing it at first, but now, after looking into it, I've never been so excited to read comics. But there is one thing that has been bugging me a little bit. I think we need to address the discourse around this comic. This is not the New 52, and it is lazy to call it that. Why? Well, for one, this has been in the works for quite a few years now, according to Scott Snyder, and already has over 2 years worth of storytelling already in place. The issue with the New 52, the main issue at least, was the fact that DC as a whole, as a company, really jumped the gun. They did not plan this very well. They went into this with basically no communication between all the staff, all the writers, and so the continuity and the status quo was basically completely in flux through all comics. It resulted in a lot of bad stories, a lack of continuity between, say, the Detective Comics and the Batman stories, and who was doing what and how long had people been around. And the main thing about that is that, well, this isn't a retcon. That is not the All-In Initiative. That is not the Absolute Universe. Edginess was not the main issue with the New 52. Now, having said that, am I a little worried that it might be too edgy? I mean, maybe. I mean, this is comics. That's kind of what happens. That's kind of what these dudes do. But the Absolute Universe, these are completely new, completely different characters that you don't have to read, but they might be something that would be refreshing for you in a world where things can become too status quo. And you know, if it's not absolutely clear, the Absolute Universe is in no way a retcon or a reboot. That is not the All-In Initiative. The All-In Initiative is about giving the classic versions that fans love some radical new changes to the storylines. As I already mentioned, there were some shakeups if you read All-In and Absolute Power. You still get the status quo, you still get the heroes that you love, they're not going anywhere. Versus the Absolute Universe, which as an older fan, you can also read too. But the Absolute Universe requires no prior reading, and it's not just an Elseworld story. It's an ongoing story that's going to go on for a few years at the least. And if you're a new fan, this is probably the perfect time to start reading comics. This is something brand new with basically no status quo pretty much whatsoever tied to it. You still get the Batman in essence that you love because he's going to have the same morals, the Superman and the Diana that are all going to have the same morals, the same values, but in completely different circumstances that we've never seen before. I think no matter what, if you're getting into comics or you've read them for a while, this has to be a good thing. Look, the Absolute Universe may not be everybody's cup of tea, but All-In as an initiative has to have you excited because look, the writers seem excited. The writers seem so rejuvenated, and the fact that we are getting some serious shakeups that we don't normally see in comics has to give you some hope. It has to get you excited because it really shows you too that this line of storytelling and comics specifically are not dead. They're very much alive and they are very much exciting. So am I all in? Absolutely. Anyways, thank you so much for watching this video. If you wouldn't mind dropping a like, that would be great. Get in the comments below. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on this whole thing. And if you really want maybe a new reaction series to one of these new comics, please let me know. There's a lot that I'm interested to talk about. There's more that are coming up that I didn't even get a chance to touch on, so really excited to get in on this. And also, if you're a new fan, welcome. Please make sure to subscribe because I think I want this channel to be a safe space for especially new comic book readers. I know that this is a place that can get very gatekeepy. This isn't going to be that for you. So please feel free to subscribe, share it with your friends, and I'll see you guys in the next one.